We know a little kindness can go a long way, but sometimes teaching that concept to kids requires us to meet them on their level, right? My next guest has developed a fun family activity to inspire kindness in kids. Writer Brooke Romney likes to teach kids to be stone catchers and make their corner of the world a little friendlier, a little happier. Always a great day to have Brooke Romney here in studio. Explain what a stone catcher is.
So the term came from a book I read titled Just Mercy. It's about the American criminal justice system. But at the end, he talked about how it's not enough for us to not throw stones. We have to take it one step further and be stone catchers to defend those who are defenseless. And that can be in all areas of life.
I love that. So it's not what we are saying, it's what we're doing around what other people say that matter as well. What are some everyday examples of stone catching?
So in the, I felt really inspired to write an article about this term. It was so visual and beautiful.
It is.
And so one of my favorite examples from the article is my grandpa. My cousin was at his house and he said, "Come help me put a welcome home sign on our gate." They live in a gated community. And so my cousin said, "So who are we welcoming home?" And he was thinking maybe a missionary or somebody from the armed services. And my grandpa said, "It's someone coming home from prison and we want him to know he's welcome back." That's a big example, but in the article there's tiny examples, from a woman who says something kind to a mother with struggling kids, to a teacher who doesn't judge, just some really beautiful moments. And I wanted to take that down to my kids' level. They don't necessarily love me reading articles that I've written to them, but I did it anyway.
That's not their preferred bedtime routine.
But I did it anyway, and then we created, I wanted them to internalize it. So I created this role-playing game that might help them understand what it means in their world to be a stone catcher.
And you were gracious enough to capture a little video of this game. Let's take a look, and we'll talk on the other side.
James is so annoying.
No, he's not. He's fun. Wait.
James never plays fair.
Yeah, he does. Sit down.
James always comes into my room.
He just likes to play with you.
Oh my gosh, in addition to your cutest boys ever, and some recruited neighbors it looks like too, right?
No,
are those
mine.
all yours?
Yeah,
They've
those are all
grown up.
mine.
They have grown up. All right, talk us through the concept. I think people kind of get the idea, but you're throwing out scenarios as you throw the stone.
Yes, so one person is the person under fire, and we switch that up to be all different kinds of people and different kinds of situations. One person is the stone catcher, and they're responsible with coming up with something that stops the stone.
That diffuses it,
Yes.
deflects it.
In a kind way, in a loving way. And then the other people, they love their job. They get to be the stone throwers.
They get to say things they would never say in real life.
Right.
Well, I love this concept because I don't know what it is. I mean, it seems we always default to the social media generation that we live in, but it seems people are so vulnerable these days. We're all vulnerable. We're walking around with our insecurities and our weaknesses just out for, in many cases, people to see. So the idea of all of us defending and stepping up and linking arms with one another to offer that protection and that kindness, I guess, essentially, is really powerful.
Yes, and I think kids really benefit from having that situation at home and showing what would you do, because sometimes when you're on the spot it's really hard to think of how to be kind.
And it's not just kindness. There are some smaller kind of in between the lines lessons that you hope your kids will take away. The first is to offer the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, so there's a situation that we have a bully where somebody says, "Oh, that kid's such a jerk. Oh, he's so rude." And as a stone catcher, they can say, "You know what, maybe he's struggling. Maybe he has a hard time at home. Or maybe he doesn't have any friends. Let's go be his friend." And in the article that I wrote about how to do this, there are some situations that you can do, but also some answers, because sometimes kids struggle. Sometimes it doesn't come out really well. And sometimes they need help from their parents saying, "What if you said this? What if you said this?" And we really did a lot of prompting too.
Well, and I know we're targeting this message and this exercise toward kids, but I got to tell you, giving the benefit of the doubt, I still find myself as an adult reminding myself to do this to other women, to other friends. It's just a powerful tool, I think, to turn the situation around.
Well, and it's a fun catchphrase in your family when you say, like, "Hey, are you being a stone catcher?"
Are you being a stone catcher?
I have to be honest, like, I've been guilty of not being, and my kids can keep me in check.
Another benefit of this stone catching principle, idea, or activity is it teaches kids not to judge one another. You don't know their circumstances. You don't know where these thoughts or comments are coming from.
Right. You know, you think of somebody who just came to our country and they don't speak English well. And so the kids, you know, in elementary school, "Oh, she sounds so weird. How come she can't talk our language?" You know, something like that. Because mostly they don't know. And then you take it, say, you know, maybe you could say something like, you know what, she speaks Spanish so well. You should hear her speak Spanish. Or let's teach her some cool English words so that she can talk and play with us.
Stonecatcher.
And it's so fun to see that little light bulb go on for your kids and say, wait, I can do this.
You're helping them turn the table and essentially walk in another person's shoes, which boils down to compassion, doesn't it?
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Compassion at the end of the day. And really what it boils down to is just love. You want your kids to be able to love unconditionally and spread that kindness, or stop the anti-kindness at the door.
Right, and I found this is such a good tool for my kids, such a good tool for me, just a way for them to understand there's another way. You don't have to join in casting stones. You don't have to even just sit back and not cast your own stone, but you can change things. You can change things in your own little corner of the world. And honestly, in a world that's as crazy as ours right now, that's where it has to start.
Be a stone catcher.
Yes.
I love it, Brooke. Thank you so much. Where can we read more of your work? Always inspiring.
It's at brookeromney.com or on Instagram at Brooke Romney Writes and Facebook at Brooke Romney Writes.
Every article I've read, so worth the read. Thank you for sharing your gift.